Next, I'm going to explain how to play Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. We're going to begin this song. Before I begin my explanation, I would like to say that I am in standard tuning, and I'm going to refer to my strings by their letter names. We begin the song with an introduction. It begins by playing your A string open. Then you want to play the second fret of your D string. Place your pointer finger on the second fret of your D and play that note. After that, you're going to play your B string open and then play the first fret of your B string. So place your pointer finger on your B string, first fret, play that note. So far we have this played slowly. Then take your pointer finger and place it on the first fret of your low E string and play that note. Take your ring finger or your pinky, it doesn't matter, and place it on the third fret of your A string, play that. Then you're going to play your G string open. And the last note in the introduction is the second fret of the G string. So place your pointer finger on the second fret of your G and play that. So all together, played slowly, it will sound like this. And at real speed. And once you run through that group of notes that I just explained, once you run through it one time, that's going to be considered as once. And to begin the song, you're going to play that group of notes 6 times. After you have completed your 6th run through, what you're going to do is we're going to move into what I've just chosen to label as Introduction Part A. And what that's going to consist of is we're going to take a chord shape. The chord shape is going to be us placing our pointer finger on the 3rd fret of our A string. Our ring finger is going to go on the 5th fret of the D, and our pinky is going to go on the 5th fret of our B string. So we're pressing down firmly on those 3 notes. What we're going to do is we're going to pick our A string first, and our pointer finger's on the 3rd fret. Then pick the next string down, which is your D string. Your ring finger's on the 5th fret. Play that. Then you're going to play your B string. Your pinky is currently on the 5th fret of your B. And then play the D string once again where your ring finger is. And so that's going to sound like this. And then what we are going to do is we're going to move up and we're going to place our pointer finger on the 3rd fret of our low E. Our ring finger is going to go on the 5th fret of our A. And then our middle finger is going to go on the 4th fret of our G string. Once again, we're going to pick through some notes. We're going to play the low E string first, the 3rd fret where my pointer finger is. Then play the A string. My ring finger is on the 5th fret. Then we're going to play where my middle finger is. It's currently on the 4th fret of my G string. And then play the A string again where your ring finger is on the 5th fret. And so that little group of notes there will sound like this. All together so far we have this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move this shape exactly like we have it down a whole step. So we're going to move everything down 2 frets so that my pointer finger is on the 1st fret of my low E. Now my ring finger is on the 3rd fret of my A. And now my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the G. Now I'm going to place my pinky down as well whenever we get down to this position. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and place it on the 3rd fret of my B string. Okay? So I'm pressing down firmly on those frets. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pick our low E string first. Then we're going to pick the A string. Our ring finger is on the 3rd fret. Then pick the G string. Your middle finger is on the 2nd fret. Then play the A string once again where your ring finger is. and then play your D string. Your D string should not have, there's not a finger of your fretting hand on the D string. So after we played that last note, we're then going to play the D string open. After that, play the 3rd fret of your B string where your pinky is. And after you play the 3rd fret of your B string, you're going to take your pointer finger and you're going to move it down to the 1st fret of your high E string, and now you are forming a D minor chord. And that being that my pointer finger is now on the 1st fret of my high E string, my pinky is on the 3rd fret of the B string, and my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the G string. I'm going to play the bottom 3 strings to play the D minor chord. So that last little group of notes that we just played is going to sound like this, played slowly. And so all of the introduction part A together is going to sound like this at real speed. Now I'm going to play it slowly. It's going to sound like this slow. So what we're going to do, the way that the song is set up, is we're going to play the introduction 6 times to begin. And then we're going to play introduction part A that we just went over. We're going to play that 1 time. Immediately after we play that D minor chord, we'll go right back to the introduction. And you're going to play that 4 more times. After you've played that 4 times, then you're going to once again play the introduction part A that we just went over. After you've played that once again, then we're going to go into what I've labeled as rhythm figure 1, and it's going to consist of 2 chords, an A minor chord and an F major 7. The A minor chord is fretted by placing your pointer finger on the 1st fret of your B string. Take your ring finger and place it on the 2nd fret of your G string, and take your middle finger and place it on the 2nd fret of your D string. That's going to be the A minor chord. The other chord that's used is the F major 7. And what we're going to do is we're going to once again place our pointer finger on the 1st fret of our B string. Take your middle finger and place it on the 2nd fret of your G. You're going to take your ring finger and place it on the 3rd fret of your A. And below it, your pinky is going to go on the 3rd fret of your D. In this chord, in the F major 7, your high E string is played open, so make sure that your finger here on the 1st fret of your B is not touching the high E string. And you're going to play your A string through your high E strings. It will sound like this. So those are the 2 chords that we're going to use in this section, which I've called rhythm figure 1. Now the strum pattern is going to go like this. It's just something just to kind of help you get going. You're going to form your first chord, which is the A minor chord, and you're going to strum it down, up, down, down, and then you're going to strum it up, down, down, up. So it's going to sound like this. I'm going to strum it slowly so that you can get the hang of it. It's going to go like this. So you'll run through those strums just like I just said. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And then you're going to make your chord change to the F major 7 chord, and you're going to do the same exact strum pattern. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And after you have played your A minor and then your F major 7, that's going to be considered as 1. So you're going to repeat that 6 times. And at real speed, it's going to sound like this. I'm just going to run through it twice, but it's going to sound like this. And so you're going to play your A minor and your F major 7. That'll be once. Then you'll play it again, that'll be twice, then do it again, that's 3 times, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6. And then after that, you're going to be ready to go into the chorus. Now, so what we've done, just to go back over the entire song, the introduction we did 6 times, the introduction part A, then we played that once, then we played the introduction again 4 times, and then you're going to play the introduction part A once again. Then after that, you're going to play what we just went over, rhythm figure 1, where you strum the A minor and the F major 7 chord. You're going to strum those two together 6 times with a strum pattern on each chord. After that, we were ready for the chorus. Now the chorus is consisted of 4 chords. The first one is going to be a C major chord. That chord is fretted by placing your ring finger on the 3rd fret of your A string. Your middle finger will go on the 2nd fret of the D string. Your G string is open. You're going to place your pointer finger on the 1st fret of your B string. Now what John does in this C major chord is he adds his pinky to the 3rd fret of his high E string. So once again, I've got my pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E, my pointer finger is on the 1st fret of the B, my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the D, and my ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the A. That's the first chord, the C major chord. Then what we're going to do, the second chord is the G7 chords. We're going to move our ring finger and our middle finger. We're going to move those each up 1 string. So my ring finger is going to go up to the 3rd fret of the low E. My middle finger is going to go up to the 2nd fret of the A. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pinky out of the picture, take it off the board, and I'm going to take my pointer finger and drop it down 1 string to the 1st fret of my high E string. So to form this G7 chord, I've got my pointer finger on the 1st fret of the high E, my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the A, and my ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the low E string. And I strum all 6 strings in this chord. So to make your chord change, you were at the C chord. To make it easy, like I said, move your ring finger and your middle finger up, move them each up a string from where they were, and then move your middle finger down a string, your pointer finger down a string, and take your pinky off the board. And that's the G7. The 3rd chord that we're going to use in the chorus is a D minor add 9, and that's going to be played by placing your pointer finger on the 5th fret of your G string and place your ring finger on the 6th fret of your B string. What you're going to do is you're going to play your D string open, you're going to play the bottom 4 strings. So your D string is going to be played open. Your pointer finger is on the 5th fret of your G string. Your ring finger is on the 6th fret of the B. And then you're also going to play the high E string open. And that's going to be the D minor add 9. It's going to sound like this. And the 4th and final chord in the chorus is going to be our A minor chord. We went over that earlier. So the chorus consists of a C major chord. You're going to add your pinky to the C major on the 3rd fret of your high E. The G7, which we went over. The D minor add 9, and the A minor. Okay, let's take our first chord here, the C major chord, and I'm going to go through a strum pattern for you to kind of help you get started here in the chorus. It's going to go, you're going to strum down, you're going to pause for a second, and you're going to go down, down, up. So it's going to sound like this. Once again, that was down, pause, down, down, up. Then you're going to make your chord change to the G7 chord, same strum pattern. Then play your D minor add 9, same strum pattern. The A minor. Then you're going to play the C major chord just as we did before. Then after that, you're going to play the G. You're going to form your G7 chord, and you're only going to strum it down and then up. It's going to sound like this. And then you're going to play your D minor add 9 1 time, strum it down. And that's going to make up the first chorus. So I'm going to play it for you, and it's going to go like this. So the first chorus is fairly short. That's the way it's going to go. You're going to play that one time, and then you're going to go back to the introduction. You're going to play it 4 times, and then you're going to play the introduction part A once. After that, play the introduction again 4 more times. After that, play the introduction part A 1 more time. And then you're going to play our rhythm figure 1. You're going to play that once. You're going to play that 6 times. And then after that, we're going to play the chorus again. The second time we get to the chorus, we're going to run through it a couple more times. It's going to sound like this. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to run through our C chord with the same strum pattern. Then you're going to play the G7, D minor add 9, A minor, and the C once again, G7, D minor add 9, A minor, then the C once again, then the G7, and you're going to strum it down, up, and then you're going to play your D minor add 9. So the second time we run through the chorus, we're just going to run through it all once more. It's going to sound like this. And that's going to set us up to play the solo. The solo to Californication I have broken down into 4 parts. The first part, what we're going to do is we're going to place our middle finger on the 10th fret of our B string. We're going to pick that note 1 time. Then place your pointer finger on the 9th fret of your high E string and pick that once. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our ring finger and place it on the 11th fret of our G string. I'm going to take my middle finger and place it on the 10th fret and my pointer finger on the 9th fret. I'm going to use my middle finger and my pointer finger to help push this string up and pull it back down and then play a vibrato. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that G string just 1 time. And then my pick is out of the picture. I'm going to push the string up and then continue to press down firmly on that string and pull it back down. And then once I get it back down to where it was, which was the 11th fret of the G string, I'm going to play a vibrato. It's going to sound like this played slowly. So far we have this. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that exactly the same. So far in part 1 of this solo, I'm going to play that twice. It's going to sound like this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm still pressing down on the 11th fret of the G. I'm going to pick it down twice, and then I'm going to pick it down and up. So it's going to sound like this played slowly. So I've picked it 4 times. What I'm going to do then is I've got my pointer finger pressing down firmly on the 9th fret of the G. I'm going to play the 11th fret. I'm going to pull off so that the 9th fret of the G is exposed. It will sound like this. So far all together in this part 1 we have this. After that, we're going to take our ring finger and we're going to place it on the 11th fret of the D string and play it twice. After we played it twice, then we're going to play the 9th fret of the D once. Then place your ring finger back onto the 11th fret of the D and play it once again. After that, place your pointer finger on the 9th fret of the G string, play it. So far we have this all together. Then what you want to do is you're going to place your ring finger back onto the 11th fret of your G. You're going to play it, and you're going to bend it up, and you're going to pull it back down. It's going to sound like this. Once again, it's going to sound like this. After that, pick your ring finger up and play the 9th fret of your G string. And then take your ring finger and place it on the 11th fret of your D string and play it. So far we have this. And that's going to end part 1. So I'm going to play part 1 in real speed. It's going to sound like this. Part 2, what we're going to do is once again play the 10th fret of our B string. Then play the 9th fret of your high E string. Then play the 12th fret of your high E string, and then take your ring finger and place it on the 14th fret of your high E string and play it. And add a little bit of vibrato to that. So far in part 2 we have this. Then what we're going to do is once again play the 10th fret of our B string, play the 9th fret of your high E, play the 12th fret of your high E. Then we're going to place our ring finger on the 14th fret of the high E string. You're going to pick it once and you're going to bend it up. And then you're going to let go of that note and pick the 14th fret of your high E string. It's going to sound like this, played slowly. So far in part 2 we have this. And that's going to end part 2. So parts 1 and 2 together will sound like this. In part 3, what we're going to do is you can take either your ring finger or your middle finger, it really doesn't matter, but you're going to place it on the 17th fret of your high E string. Play that note one time. Then move it down and play the 16th fret of your high E string. Play that once. Then play the 14th fret of your high E string. So far in part 3 we have this. Then you want to take either your ring finger or your middle finger and play the 17th fret. Leave your pointer finger here on the 14th fret of your high E. You're going to play the 17th fret of your B string. Then play the 14th fret of your high E once again. So far we have this. Then play the 17th fret again. Then move your pointer finger up and play the 14th fret of your B string. play the 17th fret again, then play the 14th fret of your B again. So we've got this in part 3, played slowly. Okay, what we're going to do next is we've got our pointer finger on the 14th fret of our B. Take either your ring finger or your middle finger, it doesn't matter, and place it on the 16th fret of your G string. So right now I've got a finger on the 16th fret of the G, and I've got my pointer finger on the 14th fret. I'm going to pick the G and the B strings, but I'm only going to push up the G string. I'm going to push it up a whole step, so it's going to sound like this. Then do that again. Then do that once more. So we'll do it a total of 3 times. So far part 3. After the 3rd time that we bend up our G string at the 16th fret, what we're going to do is we're then going to play the 17th fret of our B string and then play the 14th fret of the B string. And that will be the end of part 3. So part 3 altogether. Parts 1 through 3 together. And then the 4th and final part in the solo, we're going to play the 14th fret of our high E string. We're going to bend it up and bring it back down. Once again, that will sound like this. Then you're going to play the 12th fret of your high E string. Then you're going to play the 14th fret of your B string. So far in part 4 we have this. Then play the high E string again, and this time play it with the vibrato. Then play the 14th fret of your B. Then play the 12th fret of your B. Then play the 10th fret of your B. So we got this. Then take your ring finger and place it on the 12th fret of your high E string. Play it once. Then play the 10th fret of your high E string. Then play the 9th fret of your high E string. And then play the 10th fret of your B string to end the solo. So part 4 played slowly. And now I'm going to play parts 1 through 4, the entire solo, to Californication at real speed. It will sound like this. And after we play that very last note, which was the 10th fret of our B string, we're going to let it ring out for a second. And after we let that note ring out for a couple seconds, we'll go and play the second part of our introduction, which was this. And then we'll jump back into the beginning of the introduction and play it 3 times. So you'll play it 3 times, and then after that, all that's left is you'll play the introduction, part A, 1 more time, and then you'll play rhythm figure 1 6 times, and then you'll run through the chorus just like we ran through it on the second time that we went through the chorus, and the song will end on that D minor add 9 chord. So that is Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.